Hi everyone, this is passage 63, the loss of Hylas. Postridie, eos die Jason tempestatem satis idoneam esse arbitratus. The day after this, Jason arbitratus, having judged that the tempestatum arbitratus there, perfect active participle from arbitror, I judge. So Jason, having judged that the weather was suitable, summa enim tranquillitas ibi consecuta erat, for the utmost peace had now followed. He sustulit, comes from tolo, which is I lift. He raised his anchors. This again, one of the irregular verbs which are unfortunately so common, so you need to make sure that you know them. So the next day, Jason, having judged that the weather, having judged arbitratus tempestatem esse, accusative infinitive, it's an indirect statement, he raised his anchors, and having advanced a pauca milia passum, a few thousand paces, as in having advanced a few miles, he attigit, he arrived at Mysia ante noctem, before nightfall. Ibi paucas horas in anchoris expectavit. He waited there for time how long accusative, for a few hours in anchoris at anchor. A nautis enim cognoverat. For he had learnt a nautis from his sailors. Now, a verb of knowing or thinking. So here, for he had found out from his sailors that copiam. As soon as I see that, I'm looking for my accusative and an infinitive. So he found out that now the abundance, the supply, was now lacking of aquae, of water, quam, relative pronoun, accusative, which they haberent. This is oratio obliqua. Often indirect speech is going to take the subjunctive. So indirect. Sorry, what was I talking about? Relative speech, sort of subordinate clauses within indirect speech. I'm gibbering away. Subordinate clauses within indirect speech are very often in the subjunctive, and that's oratio obliqua. So that's the same as me saying Caesar knew that Brutus, who once had fought against him, was going to kill him. The who once had fought against him was going to possibly be in the subjunctive. For he had learnt from his sailors that the abundance of water, which the supply of water which they had with them, was now lacking. Indirect statement containing also inside it an oratio obliqua, so a subjunctive. Next bit, quam, ob causam, rather quam, so connecting relative, on account of which cause, quidam, a certain of the Argonauts, some of the Argonauts, egressi, perfect active participle, some of the Argonauts, having departed in terram, onto the land, quarebant, were looking for aquam, were looking for water. Next bit. Horum in numero erat hylas quidam. A certain Hylas was in the number horum of these men. So a certain Hylas was in their number. Puer forma praestantissima, a boy most outstanding in forma and beautiful. A boy most outstanding, most beautiful in appearance. Forma praestantissima. Praestantissima, you'll notice there is a superlative, and the forma, it is going to be ablative of quality, describing a quality, that he is outstanding in appearance. So, certain Hylas was in their number, a boy outstanding in appearance. Qui dum fontem, who, while he was looking for the fountain, secesserat Paulum, had departed a little bit had got separated a little bit from his comitibus, from his comrades. Nymphae autem, the nymphs, however, quae, relative pronoun, who were dwelling in the fountain, cum juvenem videscent, when they had seen the young man, conatae sunt, cum videscent, pluperfect, subjunctive, part of the temporal clause, when they had seen this young man, they conatae sunt, that looks passive but is active. It's from conor, I try. It's a deponent verb. They tried, notice the ae ending telling us again that it's feminine. They tried to persuade him, ut, to remain with them. Manerent, the subjunctive, because it is part of an indirect command. Trying to persuade him, they persuaded him to remain. Persuading, the same as ordering or commanding in the context of the indirect command. They tried to persuade him to remain. Imperfect, subjunctive, third person, singular, part of the indirect command. Et cum ille negaret. Remember that if you are saying you are saying that not. So a negative indirect statement takes nego rather than dico non. So, and when ille, change of subject, when he denied, temporal clause, when he denied, as soon as I see a denying, I'm looking for an accusative infinitive, factorum esse, when he denied that he was going to do this, which when he said that he wasn't going to do this, puerum vi abstulerant, they took the boy by force. Comites eos postquam haelam amissum esse senserunt. His companions, after they realized that haelam, so senserunt, I am seeing here, they realized, I'm thinking that is a verb of saying or thinking, recognizing, realizing. I'm looking for an accusative infinitive. So his companions, after they realized that amissum had gone missing, had been taken away, they adfecti, having been, perfect passive participle, having been affected by great sorrow, diu frustra quaerebant, for a long time they were looking in vain. Hercules autem et Polyphemus. However, Hercules and Polyphemus, qui secuti erant, who had followed the footsteps, secuti erant is again a deponent verb, looks passive but is active. Pluperfect there, secuti erant, looks like it should be had been gone after, but doesn't make any sense that. It would be who had gone after, who had followed the footsteps of the boy Longius for further, comparative adverb there, who had followed the footsteps of the boy further, ubi tandem ad litus redierunt, when they at last returned to the shore, cognoverunt Jasonem, realized that Jason Solvisse had set off. This, in the context of the Argonauts, is obviously an absolutely terrible thing because Hercules was the greatest of all the Argonauts. So they realized, cognoverunt, realized Jason, accusative, Solvisse, to have set off, to have released the ship, but to have set off. That is, again, a final indirect statement. Very well done on doing passage 63 and all of its indirect statements. Well done, everybody.